Hi everybody, this is Dwayne with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina. It is Wednesday, June the 24th. We're going to do the one cast. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoonish. And I think they've got almost 3 units of water running. Heavy too, if anything. We were up in the trophy area, about halfway between Lookout and the Narrows, a little closer to the Narrows. I have got, I believe it's a 16th ounce sculpin and peach jig, brown head on 4-pound test. I hear something messing around up there in the woods on the bluff. And we're going to stay kind of out in the middle, fishing towards the deep side. The old river channel is over here. And I'm going to kind of keep us over into that fishing. And I'm really going to have to let it sink because I think it's a pretty light jig for the water conditions we got. Should take it 10 or 12 cents. There's it hit bottom, so I am getting down there. I did have a guide trip this morning. Had 4 people. We started at 6 a.m. Wasn't much fog on the water, just a little bit. And we used the pink power worm under a float. Oh, that was either a bottom or a bite. And we caught quite a few fish between Fall Creek and Short Creek for the first 3 hours, especially right across from Trout Hollow in that eddy there. We boated probably 35 fish or so this morning. I talked to Mike Kidd, and he was fishing the Signature Series jerk baits up here this morning, and they caught a bunch of real nice fish on that. Last 2 mornings in a row he's been fishing that and doing very well on it, which is kind of fun to hear. And then we've had quite a few boat rentals today, people coming in and out. Some boats are doing good, some boats are struggling pretty hard. So I've got that jig down on the bottom. Every time it touches the bottom here, I just kind of bounce it a little bit. And seeing if we can't get a fish. I haven't got any afternoon reports in yet. Those boats will start coming in about 4:30, 5 o'clock. A bunch of them due in at 6 o'clock, so I'm kind of excited to see how they did. The first 3 hours of our trip, we did real well. Lots and lots of bites, lots of fish missed. But then that last hour of the trip, after the little bit of fog we had burned off, and it got pretty bright skies out, from 9 till about 10, I think I might have lost a fish there. We really struggled to get bites and only landed 1 fish in that last hour. So that bright sun can really slow them down a little bit, get them down deeper. I think we could have picked up more fish if we would have went to dragging the pink worm on a drift rig on the bottom. But we were still getting a few bites, just a hard time getting them to hook up. We are getting down to pretty close to the Narrows. And I'm fixing to bring this in just a few seconds here and recast out. I want to reposition the boat just a little bit more in the deep water as we go through the Narrows and work that tree line down through there. Quite a bit of moss in the water right now, so I did think they kicked it up from 2 to 3 units because there is quite a bit of moss tumbling down through here. All right, so nothing officially on the one cast. My jig is nice and clean. I was getting it on the bottom. I'm going to move us over just a little bit towards the bluff side, a little more in the channel as we go across the Narrows. I came out here night fishing a couple of days ago in my boat, which has a spot lock just like this one does. What spot lock is basically an anchor for your trolling motor. The trolling motor hooks up the GPS satellites and will actually hold you in one place. They had 1 unit of water flowing, which was a great flow, and I would spot lock right here just above the Narrows, and we would cast a shallow diving jerkbait or crankbait. It only went about 2.5, 3 feet deep, and just swing it back behind the boat right here, and then just kind of hold it in the water, jiggle it a little bit, and then let it set there. And I'm telling you what, those fish would be looking up and come up and just hammer that thing. It was an absolutely incredible night of night fishing. But you pretty much had to have a boat that could spot lock so that you could swing it. Anytime we were drifting like this and trying to throw the baits, it just wouldn't get a bite. But as soon as we would stop the boat and let it swing back behind the boat, we would pick up fish. And we caught a lot of really nice ones doing that. We caught 2 over 21 inches long rainbows, and several rainbows in the 18 to 19 and 7/8 inch range, just right under the 20-inch mark, and just fat guys. That was a lot of fun. If you ever have an opportunity to come out and do that, you got to know the river pretty well because it's dark out here. But it can make for a fun evening of fishing. I like it with about a unit of water flowing for that, so it's not too crazy fast out here. And I like to come up and get set up just before it gets dark, and then fish into the dark. And that way all you got to do is float back downstream to get out of here. So far, nothing officially on the one cast. We are coming through the Narrows right now. It's quite a bit shallower. We're right at about the edge of the gravel bar where it rolls off, and those fish will hang right on the edge of that gravel bar. So it's kind of a place I like to hit and fish quite often when I get a chance. Oh, that might have been a bump. Felt something on there. I did fish white jigs through here the other morning, and they worked pretty well. Had to just let that white jig sink down to the bottom. Every time it hit the bottom, just kind of bump it a little bit. And we would pick up quite a few fish. I think that was maybe 3 days ago we did that through here. There's a fish. There are some fish in here. In the Narrows. He's a pretty guy. Not real big, maybe 13, 14 inches. Well, I might have hurt his feelings there. He just took off like a bulldog. Tried to go in the trolling motor, but he's got a real pretty red stripe on him. Pink, dark pink red stripe. Let's see if we can hold him up and get a good look at that. Pretty male, almost like he's in spawning colors. Beautiful fish. Alright. Try that a little bit more, just a couple more casts, and I gotta head back to the dock because we still got quite a few boats due back, starting about 5 o'clock. Alright, I think I'll bring this one in and we'll make one more cast. Last cast. It was nice and cool this morning, only about 50, 53 degrees, somewhere in there. It has warmed up quite well today. When I walked out the door this morning for my guide trip, I had to go back in and put pants on. I'm kind of wishing I had shorts on right now. It's a little warm out here. Oh, I just lost one. I had him on there for a second. This is the gravel bar on the lower end, front side of Eagle Island. It's pretty shallow water all through there. And it's a great place for scuds to hang out. A little bit slower water than what's going through the Narrows. And it usually holds quite a few fish over here. Not as big as the ones in the Narrows, but nice fish. And it can be a real fun place to fish sometimes. See, I had a bite on that cast, so I can't end on just getting a bite. I'm gonna make one more. Get a lot of people that come back in the boats, and I always ask them how they did out there fishing, and some of them will come in and say, oh, just one or two fish. And I'll always tell them, well, that sure beats a sharp stick in the eye. It looks like we got just one fish on the one cast today. That sure beats a sharp stick in the eye. I think I'm gonna call it so I can get back to the dock and get ready for our boats coming in. Sure do appreciate y'all watching. Like and share us. We'll see you tomorrow.